When you use fasting as a tool primarily for weight loss, you are bound to be unsuccessful because that's not the purpose of fasting, in my opinion. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. Today, I want to talk about intermittent fasting, specifically from a spiritual perspective. Yesterday, I was having dinner with a friend and the topic around weight loss naturally comes up, and we talked about fasting. I said to her, the easiest way that I know to manage my weight and to just have a healthy relationship with food is through fasting every day. In the conversation, it occurred to me that when you use fasting as a tool primarily for weight loss, you are bound to be unsuccessful because that's not the purpose of fasting, in my opinion. So a lot of people will fast for a set period of time. They might lose some weight, but they'll gain it right back because they can't stick with it. But for me, fasting does something much deeper than just weight loss. For me, fasting is a way to practice being aware and being conscious of the impermanent nature of physical sensations. So a physical sensation, of course, is pain, hunger, numbness, tingling. All of these sensations are impermanent. There is no sensation in your body. There's no itch that, if left alone, will itch you until you die. No, if you leave it alone, it goes away. It might come back, it might go away. Same with pain, both emotional and physical. These sensations are, in their nature, in their design, impermanent. And this is the same for our hunger as well. So when you fast primarily for weight loss, you're enduring your hunger and you're just counting down the time until you can eat again. And then you eat and maybe sometimes even overeat to make up for the times you haven't eaten. And this is a gateway to eating disorders or any other disordered eating patterns that you don't really want. So what you actually want to do, and what I've done with fasting, is use it as a spiritual practice. Personally, I do a 12-hour minimum fast every day. For me, this is so easy. Stop eating at 6 p.m. You can eat breakfast at 7 p.m. or 6 a.m. the next day. Most people are asleep by then. Even if you stop eating at 8 p.m., by 8 a.m. the next day, you can eat breakfast. Again, easy to maintain, lifelong. But of course, as you continue to get into the practice of being aware of impermanence, what I started to do was use fasting as a way to observe the physical sensations and the mental dialogue that comes with hunger. So when you're hungry and you feel your stomach is rumbling, it's a little tight, and then your mind starts thinking and fantasizing about food, what I do is I use that as a cue to go into myself and relax around that hunger and really observe the hunger and saying, what does hunger actually feel like? Where am I feeling this hunger? I know we say generally in the stomach, but can I focus and go deep inside and see what part of the stomach feels uncomfortable? And also, importantly, I wonder how long this will last. This is a big one that I always use with all my spiritual practices, is you hold space for the hunger and the thoughts and everything else, but being the witness observer of them, just ponder the question like, I wonder how long this hunger pang will last before it goes away. For anyone that's done any form of fasting or anyone that has been hungry, period, and hasn't had an opportunity to eat right away, what you notice is that the hunger goes away. It might come back, it might go, it might come, and then you eventually get to a point where you're just not even hungry anymore. You've just gone past the point where you're so hungry and now your body's okay, I'm good. But rather than this be this passive thing that you're not aware of, if you choose to go into yourself and notice that the hunger is coming and going, then this is a way for you to redefine your relationship with food and with hunger, where hunger isn't this thing that must be quelled and gotten rid of as soon as possible. Hunger becomes your friend. It becomes a spiritual practice for you. Now, I'm not saying starve yourself or become anorexic. I'm not saying that at all. We do need food. We need good foods to nourish our bodies. We need good food for energy. We need food for enjoyment. It's a part of being social. This is all great. But in the moments when you're alone, maybe the beginning of your day, where you're starting the day, you're setting a strong intention to be still, to be stoic, to be present for the rest of your day, hunger can actually become a great tool, a tool that you can use to practice presence, to feel it come and say, very interesting, I'm getting hungry. It's 8 a.m. I wonder how long it will last before it goes away. And the truth is, in a few minutes, it does go away. And you're like, oh, interesting, it's gone away now. I wonder how long this feeling of not being hungry will last. And then it comes back. This is a physical cue from your body that you can use to practice witness consciousness, use to practice being still and observing without feeling the need to change anything. This is where, for me, true spiritual evolution occurs. When you can truly be comfortable with life as is, when you can truly be comfortable with discomfort, when you can truly be comfortable with your mind being a little bit agitated, now you're practicing witness consciousness. Now you are no longer this being, this human animal that is responsive to the changes that are happening internally. You become rooted in your being, where you're observing that there is a human that I inhabit that is feeling hunger. There is space between you and the physical sensation of hunger. So this is how I use hunger and fasting as a spiritual practice. Now, next, I want to talk about how you can then extend this into other parts of your life. So when you've had the practice of being comfortable with some form of discomfort and not wishing it away, not wanting it to stop, but rather being inquisitive about, I wonder how this feels. I wonder how long it will last. I wonder how many cycles it will take until it just goes away completely. You become inquisitive, you become intimate with this discomfort. This practice actually then translates into other physical sensations that are caused by other things that happen in your life. For example, you're driving and someone cuts you off on the road. You might feel a wave of anger and irritation and some negative emotion come up for you. But now you're in the practice of not doing anything or reacting or saying anything when there is discomfort internally. So now you feel a wave of anger and frustration come up, but rather than suppress it or have a rage outburst or curse them or do whatever, you simply relax into that anger. You're like, interesting. I wonder how long this will last. I wonder how quickly it's going to go away. That's an example. Another example, maybe you're dating someone and they've said or done something that's hurt your feelings. And you know they've done it unknowingly. It's not they're not actively trying to hurt you. It's just part of their character or part of the way that they speak. But it's still ruffled up something inside of you. Rather than being reactive and saying, why did you say that? You made me feel this way, and get into a whole conversation about it, you can relax into it and say, interesting. This is a new feeling or an emotion. I wonder where it's come from. I wonder what other parts of my life I felt this way when someone has said this, and this is a reminder of that. You become inquisitive with your pain. You almost treat it like this external object that you analyze. And if you can treat it as an external object that you analyze, then you're not identified with it. It doesn't consume you. You're able to create space between you and your physical sensations that are caused by high emotion or events that are happening outside of you. You're not as reactive. You're calm. You're stoic. There is space between you and the things that you're observing, both in your outer world and in your inner world. This is spirituality. This is being in control of your life. To be able to say, this is a not so comfortable feeling, but I don't need to do anything about it. If you don't do this, as most people behave today in society, the moment there's any form of negative emotions or any form of discomfort, there is an impulsive need to fix it. I'm hungry, I must eat, right? I'm angry, I must lash out. I must get the last word. Someone says something mean to me, I must say something back. There's no growth in this. There is no evolution in this. But real healing, real growth comes from creating space between you, that which observes your emotions and your physical world, and the thing that's outside of you. Because 99% of the time, the things that are outside of you that are unfolding, what people say, how life's turning out, even your emotions, your moods, most of the time, these things are impersonal. They have nothing to do with you. It's just parts of the general ever-changing nature of life. Everything is changing. Your moods are changing. Your feelings, your emotions, everything is coming and going. It's been informed by things that you're not even aware of. It's not personal to you. Nothing is out to get you. So there is no need to react to most things. Now, of course, there'll be a time you need to take action. So if someone is physically going to harm you, remove yourself from that situation. If someone is abusing you in any form, verbally, emotionally, physically, get yourself out. Of course, do something, right? But if it's the other things in life, just your thoughts, your emotions, someone says something, someone does something in front of you, someone steals something that's yours, most of the time you don't need to do anything. Life has a beautiful way of solving its own problems because they're not even problems to begin with. We define them as problems. We are the ones that have an issue with what's happening in front of us. The things happening in front of us have no issues with us. For the most part, the things that are happening externally have happened as a series of random events that has been going on since the beginning of time, 13.9 billion years. Someone had to meet someone's mom, to meet someone's dad, to give birth to them, to expose them to a particular life experience that shaped them and made them to behave to adapt to life a certain way. And then they come into your consciousness and then they give you a little bit of that learned experience. It's nothing to do with you. You didn't control all the other causal factors that led up to that point. So for the most part, you do not need to take offense. You don't need to do anything. Just smile and relax into the feeling. Relax into yourself and ask yourself, I wonder how long this will last. I wonder how long this emotion will last. I wonder how long this thought will last. It's not going to be easy all the time, but you start with the small things like hunger. This one you feel every day. It's a great practice because you don't need to wait for someone to cut you off to practice this one. You don't need to go driving to practice this one. You just wake up every day and give yourself a few minutes, a few hours. Hunger comes. There's your spiritual practice. You go into it. You relax into it. Yeah. So this for me is the purpose of fasting. And once you do this, all the other benefits come up as a byproduct. Because if you treat fasting as a spiritual practice, then yes, you will lose any unnecessary weight. Your relationship with food will change because you now know that I don't have to eat this. I want to eat it, but I can stop. I can choose to go back to this feeling of I really want to, but what does that really feel like for me? What part of me really wants to do this right now? Everything becomes an opportunity to create space. So you get the weight loss benefits, you get the mental clarity benefits, you get all these things, but it's so much easier to maintain your fasting practice because you're no longer seeing it as a means to an end. It's not this means to this goal that I'm going to be a particular size or whatever. It's this practice, it's this ritual that you have to evolve yourself for the rest of your life, because we don't stop evolving. We don't stop evolving. And the reason why we know this is because we get challenges until the very day that we die. Until our very last moments on this planet, there will be things, new problems, new challenges that we need to overcome. So life is all about evolving. Life is all about learning and growing and practicing witness consciousness and space and patience and non-reactivity. So fasting becomes a lifelong practice that helps you in this game of life that we've come to play, which is to evolve our consciousness. Okay, so that's it for me today. That's what has come into my mind to share, and I really do hope that this is useful for anyone that's listening out there. If anyone's got any questions, I'm very much available. Please leave comments. Please send me emails. Please send me DMs. I really love to hear from you and reply and continue to grow through your questions. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.